again, I'm ridiculously sorry if it does. They're coming around this week and I've told them it's urgent. But yeah, like I said, you'll start seeing all the sort of benefits that you didn't expect to see. A bit gutted Lisa's not on the call. Lisa's got netball tonight, but Lisa's been with me for a while, and she wants to do like a little testimonial story of all the benefits that she didn't expect to see from obviously her posture, running style, along to being able to like hold her daughter at a festival, which she never used to have the strength to do. And obviously over that period of time, her daughter's got a lot bigger and a lot heavier, but Lisa's obviously got a lot stronger. So all of these things will come. And like I said, they will go again. And this is sort of what we're talking about today, the halfway point, mindset and motivation. So we'll touch on a few other things. We've touched on them previously in other calls as well. So I'm not going to dwell massively on them topics, but I do want people to sort of participate. If there's anything they want me to cover again, please do. I'm going to start the chat with the main thing we'll be talking about is mindset, motivation. Like we touched on it last week with Emma's question. But what do you think you see first with your own journey? What comes first when you start a new diet? Is it motivation or discipline? What normally gives you that sort of, right, I'm ready to rock and roll here, I'm ready to start hitting targets? A, being motivation, B, being discipline. There's no right or wrong answer, genuinely. So what is your personal preference? Yeah. So, yeah, most of you, obviously, when you start a journey such as something like ELIMIN8, motivation comes first, doesn't it? I'm actually with Charlotte. I find myself discipline. Like, discipline comes first for me, and then motivation comes. So it's like the shiny object, isn't it? We all go for the shiny object, and it's, you've got a new program, all guns blazing, let's give this our best go, try all these new things. And I think we've seen it a little bit within the group, which is common. Everyone wants to do the 4 workouts instead of the 3. Everyone wants to fit all their favorite foods into their diet and then make everything else fit. Then the slowly start going through the weeks, it starts going the reverse. It's like, right, now I'm going to make everything fit. So I fulfill my hunger, make sure I'm on track, make sure all progress is being made. And then anything extra, or at the weekends, we tend to try and fit them extra things in. And that's why we've seen with like things like the challenges, and especially the food challenges, we start seeing things start coming in a little bit more at the weekend rather than constantly throughout the week. And that's because that motivation does wear off. And 8 weeks is a long period of time. People forget that dieting for 8 weeks is tough. Obviously, you get your 2 bonus weeks bringing you back out of a diet. But this is why, like, most people give up on their New Year's resolutions. It's something like, they say it's 30 days to create a new habit. So most people give up. And I think it's something ridiculous. Like, I should know this. I think it's 80% of people give up their New Year's resolution in January. It's something as high as that, and something ridiculous like 97% of people don't complete it by the end of the year. No one checked them stats because they could be completely made up, but it sounds good. Realistically, it was something along them lines I've seen today. And it's because of the habits. And like you said, you're all motivated. Yeah, there we go, Michelle. You've been listening to my podcast. Yeah, see, there we go. Michelle's backing me up. Thanks, Michelle. How much do I owe you for that one? And it's, people think it's like, obviously, and it all comes down to like a couple of things. It comes down to your motivation. Obviously, comes down to like, a lot of it starts with like that motivation, and then that motivation and the shiny syndrome sort of wears off. So like, this is when sort of like the discipline comes in. But with training and gym and lifestyle, it's a lot harder to just implement sort of discipline. And this is something that I think needs to be talked about more, and I think coaches need to be more aware of, because it's easy for someone to say, or someone to put out an Instagram post saying, oh, you don't feel like going to the gym today, that's exactly when you should go to the gym. But if we're talking about results and fat loss and getting yourself to a position where you're comfortable, it is a long game. Like, the biggest result in fitness, health, well-being is longevity. It is, how long can you sustain this? And this is why it's about creating a lifestyle. So, like, if I use a couple people within the group, Ryan has just had a baby. Congratulations, Ryan. He's not on the call, but Ryan's just had a baby. He doesn't feel like going to the gym today because he got no sleep? Should I say to him, no, you don't feel like going today, you should go to the gym? Rachel's just had her 40th birthday. I'm sure she won't mind me saying she looks great for 40. I've covered myself well there. But she's not. Is she going to want to go to the gym on a Sunday after her 40th? No, but she hasn't got a fourth workout in. Should I make her go? It's about the thing that's going to provide that longevity within fitness and training, health and well-being, is knowing the difference of when you don't feel like going, but should really go, and knowing when your body or your mind and mental state needs that rest. Does that sort of make sense with everyone? Give me a little Y in the group or an N, and I'll go into more detail on mindset and motivation. Good. So, like I said, what motivates, again, I'm going to try and make this call a lot more interactive. And did you say something to me, Carlos? Or is your just phone not on mute? No, I think his phone's just not on mute. So again, this is a personal, no right or wrong answer. What provides you guys your own motivation? Like, if I'll start, mine for my motivation is usually a holiday. It is something along them lines. Having a holiday book provides me that motivation to dig deep, be a little bit stricter. There you go. Charlotte's in with the first comment. What gives you your motivation personally? Yeah. Good. Jeans that get tight, Carolina, is that because the bum's growing, or was that going to say jeans that were tight get loose? Because if it's the bum getting big, I'm all for it. Yeah. So you can see, like, everyone just within the group has their own jeans that get tight. There we go. Everyone's got their own sort of goal, and this is what most people do, is like, not one of you's there put a number on the scale. Not one of you's were like, I want to be 60 kilos, chasing 60 kilos, chasing 75 kilos. So one thing with motivation, and you've heard people probably say it before, is find a goal deeper than a number on the scale. And again, Claire put a good comment there. It's like she sometimes sets a goal too far in the future, and obviously it doesn't get there, loses motivation, and then obviously falls off the track. So it's finding that deeper goal, finding that ultimate sort of end goal, and then reverse engineering it back. And that's sort of where your motivation will always lie. So for me, like, if I'm using like things like holidays and photo shoots, I know, like, if I've done one in November, that's my end goal. But if I tried to diet from now till November without any socials, without any sort of living life, without eating out, I would just not do it, and I would crash. So I start breaking that down and being like, right, realistically, I've got, let's just use it, 10 months to diet, got 10 kilos to lose. If I can lose a kilo a month staying on track, then I'm okay. I'm happy to stay motivated. I'm happy to keep that goal. If I start losing more than that and I get there early, my goal changes. It changes to right, let's slow down the rate of fat loss. Let's enjoy life. Let's make sure my energy's not hit. And then all these things start changing. So it's always keeping an end goal and a deeper goal in mind. Like for me, my gym, my weight training, my actual end goal is I want to be fit when I have kids and I want to play with my kids. I want to be that dad that's able to go to the park and kick the ball about and run around and chase the kids and things like that. That is my end goal. And that is why my training has sort of changed from an aesthetic view to a more health view, along with obviously the aesthetics. I have no shame in saying my goals are mainly aesthetic, but obviously I keep an eye on my health in line with that. Some of my KT's laughing at me. It's always been the case, but there's no shame in having aesthetic goals, because along with having aesthetic goals and looking a certain way or being a certain number on the scale, I know I just said don't always have that as a goal, often comes with health benefits. So that's where motivation comes from. There's all different pool of areas, and it's sometimes it takes that reflection of like, right, my motivation dipped. Why is it dipped? What is my actual goal here? And sometimes it's that self-reflection. Sometimes it's leaning on someone like me to be like, right, am I on track? What is it like? And goals can change, and things can move. Do you know what I mean? So don't be afraid to reset or speak to someone like obviously me, or speak to a friend and be like, right, what's going on? My head's all over the place at the minute. My motivation's low. I don't feel like going to the gym. I don't feel like eating healthy. But is it because you've moved your goal? Is it because you're not aware of your goal? Is it because you've forgotten it? Or is it because you need a break? And that is sort of where that motivation and longevity comes in hand. Everyone okay with that? Just give me a little Y in the group. Yeah, sound. So anyone struggle with motivation or discipline? And if you speak up, you're going to get direct help. So feel free to speak up if you struggle with. Who's on iPhone? Someone's come up as iPhone. Everyone's coming in. Emily, go on, Emily, you were first. What's your biggest struggle with either motivation or discipline usually? You'll have to unmute yourself. No. Right, Carlos, over to you. What do you struggle with most on motivation? Everyone can hear me, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. Right, Claire, over to you. I know you'll speak.
Oh, hello. Yes. I struggle with my motivation when I have like a hiccup. So like when I did like a session with you last year, I like went out for a girls' night out and I like drunk and I ate everything I wanted. And then I was like, my weight went up by like a couple of kilos. And I really struggled like to get my mind back in the game, be like, right, I can still do this. I need to get it back down. But then I was getting like really annoyed with myself that I'd let it go back up. And I get like that also, like if I go away for the weekend or like if I have a hiccup and my weight just goes up, and that's just like what irritates me. And then I'm just like, well, why am I bothering?
Okay, that's fair, because that is something that most people struggle with. I've put myself on the spot by asking someone to speak live on camera, and I've got no notes for this one. But if I said to you right now, what's your goal? Is your goal to be perfect, or is your goal to find a good balance of your social life and lose weight?
I guess it's like a combination of the two. Like I want to like feel good in myself. I want to have like control of my food, but then also like live my life. But then I also like really want to like look better.
Yeah, and completely understandable. If I said to you, you could look like the front cover of GQ magazine, let's just use that as an example, but you had no friends and no social life, would you bite my hand off for that, or would you say I'm not taking that?
No, I wouldn't do that.
So no, and that's good, and that's nice to hear, because most people think they want to look a certain way and be a certain position, right? But it comes with sacrifice, and this is why on ELIMIN8, I want people to hit targets and I want people to make it fit, But you've got to remember there's some things throughout the year that are going to make you where you will go over calories. You will go over your calories on certain days of years, weddings, best friends, birthdays, hen dos, team nights out. But it's being able to get back on the wagon that makes you do that. And it's a simple question. And I know I know the answer I'm going to ask you anyway. But obviously you felt that you went backwards because you had a couple of nights out with your friends and your weight went up like a kilo or two. But if I said to you, right, carry on eating shit and stop training, is that going to make your weight go down? Or if I say get back onto what you know works for you back in the deficit, what's going to put you back on track?
Yeah, I guess it's like one of those things where I had like avoided like some social situations in the past because I'm not comfortable in my skin, and then I know that I would rather avoid some social interactions to be able to then feel better and then enjoy myself. So it's like catch-22, but in a better way.
And this is the thing, Claire, and this is a very good position to be in, and I really appreciate you being so open and talking on this because I have put you on the spot on camera. But and that's what it comes down to, and it comes down to a lot of, and you literally just hit the nail on the head for me there. It comes down to weighing up. So, for example, like I like going to the pub with the boys, right? I absolutely love sitting in the pub on a Sunday, watching the footy, having a few pints. But does the gratification of that right now outweigh my goal? So, like, I could go to the pub on a Sunday and smack. Like, I went for a roast dinner on Sunday and I chose not to drink. I had a Diet Coke because, yes, I want to drink. Yes, I want to socialize, but I have my holiday and my photo shoot coming up. So, could I still go and socialize, but just drink a Diet Coke for the next 3, 4, 5 weeks? And yeah, did I feel like I missed out? No. Some women actually got arrested in the Royal Yacht as we were eating Sunday roast, but that's a story for another time. It was absolutely mental. But like, I didn't miss out on anything socially. I still felt comfortable, and it's being able to put yourself in that situation and that mindset of being like, right, what feels comfortable to me and what's going to help me with my progress? Would I feel comfortable going and socializing from an in-person aspect compared to having to drink alcohol or having to eat what everyone else is eating just because that makes me feel? And it's weighing up that balance. And again, that comes back down to the motivation vs discipline from an outside point of view for the gym. So that should cover what I mean. And it's putting yourself in that mindset of what you're doing it for and why. And this will often lead you to the difference between motivation and discipline. And you'll read all over Instagram, you'll read all over posts saying motivation is a load of bollocks. It's all about discipline, but your discipline comes from your motivation and your deeper why. So always be aware of that. If you are feeling shit or you've had a shit day, take a step back, reflect on what it is you want and what is the goal you're doing and what is the purpose of it. Right, I want to go out tonight, but I know it will ruin my diet. But what part of, if you went outside and you stepped outside and you went to a nightclub and you danced, but you didn't drink the alcohol and eat a load of shit before you went, would that affect your goals? No, wouldn't it? It'd probably enhance them if you're two-step. And I think, do you know what I mean? Carolina's working on the bender for some dirty whining, but like if we're doing the two-stepping in the club, it's going to go further for your progress rather than obviously drinking the alcohol. So it's not the alcohol, it's not the going out that's affecting your progress. So it's taking that back. Right? And don't get me wrong, if you've ever been on a night out and you're sober and everyone else is pissed, it's a pain in the ass and people are annoying. But it's understanding what part of that is making you feel uncomfortable. And that again comes down to that will distinguish between what's motivation and what's discipline and what's your bigger why. So I'm giving a hell of a lot of examples here. So hopefully, is that helped anyone? Is that sort of, I'm happy to cover someone else's sort of mindset on this or give another example, but it's think of the deeper why. In summary, it's think of the deeper why, think of what is your reasoning for this, and then from that, you can then make the judgments of what's more important to you, the motivation, the discipline, or your own goals and progress. And again, This is why having a group like ELIMIN8 in there helps. Do you know what I mean? Like, I didn't just post that comment today about periods for girls because I came on my period. I've done it because I had 6 or 7 girls in the group within their comments being like, right, I need, I've come on my period, I'm struggling with stress, I'm struggling with cravings. So put that in the group, let it be something to talk about, because the more people talk about it, the more we know. Like, I've never had dark chocolate on my period because I've never had a period, but I know from the past and from my own coaching experience, saying like, what's your craving chocolate? It's a lot harder to eat a whole bar of dark chocolate because it's so rich that then 1 or 2 squares might just help you. It takes the cravings away. It's got the antioxidants. It helps with stress levels. So that's why I like really appreciated Emily sharing her experience. Michelle sharing a meme. That meme hit off with the girls. Do you know what I mean? Because we all feel the same. So talking about dark chocolate, that have less calories. I use Lindt 70%. The high, I use Lindt and green and black. So I'm quite posh these days, you know. I sip teas with my pinky out and all that. No, I go for flavour, Michelle. It's I know it's 60 calories for a square of dark Lindt dark chocolate, which isn't that bad because the flavour's so good. And I know a lot of people use green and blacks, but I find green and blacks that little bit too strong. So you'll see where I'm going with this. The more you share, the more you rely on people. And you can always ask me, like, amount of times some of you are stressing in your check-ins and you're like, oh, this is going shit, this is going wrong. And then I put things into perspective for you. And then you message me on like Instagram saying, thanks so much for the check-in. It really helped. That's sometimes what we need. It is just that little perspective. That's basically what I provide as a coach. I provide perspective from a relaxed sort of mindset. So keep them sort of ideas in mind. That's a lot of talk about mindset and motivation, and like then we can talk about like what makes you conscious, what's obsessive. But I've used this example earlier in the group about, remember I spoke about like if you overeat and then going for a walk or burning the calories next day. Does everyone remember that, or does someone want me to cover it? Is everyone happy with that? Just put yes for remember, or no for if you don't know what I'm talking about and you want me to cover it. It's all about like, okay, Emily. So basically, just in summary, no. Okay, right. So I overate today, yeah, and so I've gone out. My calorie target was 1,500. I went and ate 2,000 today. Is it obsessive or sensible to go to the gym tomorrow and burn it off? A, being obsessive, B, being sensible. What does A, obsessive, be sensible, be sensible, be sensible. So most people are saying it's sensible, right? To go and burn the calories that I overate, yeah? But what happened if I felt that I was punishing myself for going out and eating? I felt that I had to do it. I felt that like I've really let myself down. I'm a shit person for not going.
It's a slippery slope.
Yeah, it's obsessive. You're punishing yourself, okay?
If that's your mentality every time you overeat, then it's really bad for your mental health, no matter how much you work out.
Yeah, okay. So we've done, I completely agree, Katie. So what about if I swing it round the other way now and go, right, I'm now going to go eat this pizza, but tomorrow, because I know tomorrow I'll go burn it off. What do we think now? Is that sensible or obsessive again? Mixed reviews. So we're seeing how it comes. So I personally think it leads to bad relationships with food. I think that is obsessive. You're sort of going down the route of I can eat what I want, or you're labeling certain foods as you can only eat them if you punish yourself for eating them or you go and make it up. But then on the other hand, if you are set, if you do overeat and you've got a goal to hit and you go and get them extra steps in on a day where you are overeating, then it is sensible. So a lot of it comes down to your mindset and that relationship towards what you're doing. Yeah. And it's understanding, like, for example, if I did overeat and today I was due to go get my steps in, but I didn't get them in, and I could live with that, I would say that's okay. But if I had the spare time and I had the energy, and it meant that, like, okay, I did overeat yesterday, I've got a bit of spare time and I'll just go for a walk because I did overeat, then I think that's relatively sensible. But don't ever get yourself in the mindset that it's okay to overeat, and you'll just make it up tomorrow. It's sort of understanding, like, the best thing to do is try and make it fit. And remember, on a diet, you are in the best part of a 300 to 500 calorie deficit per day. So if we go for a 300 calorie, let's say a 300 calorie deficit Monday to Friday, that's a 1500 calorie deficit for the week. Then you go and have a pizza on Saturday, 1500 calories. So you're about maintenance for the week. Take away your normal dinner, which might be 400-500. You're still in a 400 calorie deficit. You do not need to do as much exercise as you think to make up for something. And this is why, when we've spoken in the past about people being out for dinner at weekends, I've spoke a lot about, don't try and cut back more than 100 calories more in a week. You're already in a deficit. You've already got a diet that's working. If you cut any more than that, you're tapping into your energy levels, which is going to have more negative effects later in life. So it's obsessive vs conscious, I call it, rather than smart, sensible. Obsessive vs conscious is a mindset point of view. If you ever feel you're in a bad relationship with food, or you ever feel yourself punishing, or you ever feel you have to do something, firstly, reach out to me and I'll put some perspective on this. Definitely always reach out to me. I'm not a professional. I never claim to be a professional on eating disorders, etc., etc. But I have had clients with EDs, etc. But it's putting some perspective on that and then going from there. So that's why you'll always hear me say, try and save a certain amount of calories. It might be somewhere between 1,000 to 1,500 calories if you're out for dinner or dinner and drinks. And then try and get a few steps in. Try not to obsess. So you never hear, I don't think I've ever told anyone advice that, oh, you need to cut calories away from Friday and Sunday to make up for Saturday. You'll see loads and loads of coaches post about that. I don't think it's good, because you put yourself in an energy deficit on a day which might not be needed. For example, you go and cut back 300 calories on the Friday, but Friday's your heavy leg day. Does that make any sense? Like, Danny boy, if I took 300 calories away from you on a Saturday to play footy, I told you to skip breakfast and footy, how are you going to play? You're going to be battered energy wise.
I think I'll sit on the bench if you did that.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? So that's why I try not to take it too much away from day to day. I think try and be as smart as you can on the day and then make it up through extra steps rather than always taking it away from food. I'd rather put it this way. I'd much rather you had a better relationship with food for the rest of your life than having to do steps an extra 2 days. Do you know what I mean? Having to do 2,000 steps on Saturday and Sunday. So can I give a calorie deficit? Are you supposed to eat 1,500 calories a day and are you actually eating 1,200? So calorie deficit 30. So someone's directly messaged me asking about calories and what is a calorie deficit. And so basically we all have a maintenance amount of calories. Your maintenance calories tend to be somewhere around triple your body weight. So for example, I'm 80 kg, 8 times 3 is 24. Add 2 zeros on it. So my maintenance is around 2,400 calories. That's a very rough guidance. And then you tend to put yourself in a 300 to 500 calorie deficit, because that is a good rate of fat loss, which brings you down to about 0.5 to 1% of your body weight. That tends to be how it works. Again, I'm probably pushing that a little bit with ELIMIN8 to more 500 higher end. I'm open to that. That is basically what a calorie deficit is. So your deficit is the amount you are below your maintenance levels. And the reason ELIMIN8 drops every 2 to 3 weeks is because technically you should be losing weight. Therefore, your maintenance amount is lower. So in an ideal world, I'm keeping you at a 500 calorie deficit each time you drop. So I give you 2-3 weeks, let your weight drop. You should probably need 100 less calories in that time. So technically, I'm not making your deficit even more so. I'm making it consistent with your weight loss coming down. I know I'll wrap that one off. That was pretty good. I'm proud of myself for that one. Does that make sense for Jessen? Is that, just give me a little why if you're happy, if that make, yeah, cool. I don't want to spend too much longer on these calls. It's more so the next thing is your environment. I'll quickly run through this. We spoke about it last week with Emma's question. Your environment isn't just your food cupboards, which we spoke about last week. So for anyone who's not on the call, anyone watching this back, I said about your environment. If you don't have a whole box of Quality Street on your kitchen table, there's no chance you can eat it. So instead of buying things like multi-packs, when on a diet, buy things singularly, like a dairy milk bar, or you've got your chocolate puddings, or you've got your safety net of, like, say, a tub of Halo Top ice cream, 360 calories. If you've got that in your freezer and you go wrong and you smash the whole tub of ice cream, your limit is 360. If you've got 10 tubs in there and you smash all 10, you've gone through 3,500 calories. That is what I mean by your environment in your cupboards. So just be aware of, if you know you smash a whole tub of Biscoff quite easy and you start licking a spoon, potentially don't have Biscoff in your cupboard whilst on a diet. That's what I mean by that environment. But this is the most underlooked thing I probably see on a diet, is your family, friends, and work. How many of you have been at work, you're eating at your desk, someone walked past and says, rabbit food again, is it? Or makes a shit comment about what you're eating. You're so obsessed with your diet. You're too strict with yourself. Oh my God, you've lost too much weight. You're looking skinny. You're looking unwell. How many of you, give me a little why in the group someone's made a comment either about your appearance or about your food when on a diet? All the time. Yeah, all the time. It's annoying. Yeah. Cake in the kitchen at work. Yes. Everyone's had it. Like, I used to get it the other way. I used to get like, oh my God, you eat so much. But it never used to affect me. Everyone's like, all you do is eat and you don't put on weight. It's unfair. But I've actually had a family member with like an ED, and I said to her, no, I was like, that's a big salad. And I tried to say it in like a positive way, because it was like, it's nice to see her eating a little bit more food. And she threw the salad away because she was quite deep into an ED, and she was like, oh my God, is it too much food? Am I eating too much food? So that's where your environment can be quite harmful in some respects. Is like, I always say to people, if you're going to comment on someone's food, the only thing that you could potentially say that is beneficial is, well, that looks nice. Do you know what I mean? You don't need to comment on someone's food. You don't need to say, like, even sometimes being, and this is, you never mean it from a horrible place, but just go, oh, that looks nice and healthy. Someone might be like, oh my God, am I losing too much weight? Am I too skinny? Am I things like that? It's like, oh my God, I don't just eat health. It's like, that looks nice. No, I don't think anyone's gonna comment on that. Or it's just being aware of that. And if people do it to you, like, obviously I'm losing weight at the minute for my photo shoot. The thing that's going through my head at the minute is, oh my God, I look skinny. My legs look skinny. My arms look skinny. Like, one of my mum and my mum's friends will come up to me, oh, Logan, you look so slim at the minute. You look great. So I'm like, fucking hell, she thinks I look skinny, when really she's saying it's a compliment. Do you know what I mean? She's like, oh my God, you look really slim. Like, you're looking well and healthy. But in my head, I'm like, oh my God, I am skinny. So it's being aware of your environment and that, in terms of like, they might not mean what they say. And then things like that can be quite harmful when on a diet. So just be aware of people's intentions. And if you ever want to go the other way and you need a confidence boost, get your parents to post a photo of you on Facebook and watch all their friends come in. Oh, she's beautiful, isn't he handsome? Like, that's what you always need for a confidence boost. Get them in there. But it's being aware of that. And then there's another environment. There we go, Claire. You like that one. Then there's the one of like your partners and and like your parents and things like that. Like people come from different generations and different backgrounds, and they're not quite sure of like what's healthy. Like you speak to like sort of probably my parents here, and and I'm quite lucky. I speak to a different range of people in the gym, like, but their health is like, how many of you have been around your grandmother's and it's still thing, and she's like, oh, eat more, eat more. Christiana, you've got a European background. Come on, your grandmother must feed you. Michelle, Portuguese grands, they must feed you more than anyone. I know what the Portuguese families are like. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So they see health as give as much food as you can, whereas we see it as like sticking to a certain amount of food, and it's making them aware. And sometimes you might need to make these people aware from a different sort of avenue. Like if someone's not into their food, but they're mad into their health and fitness and they do lots of marathons, and you're saying to like the lads, like, oh, I'm not going out for a few beers, I'm trying to lose a bit of weight, I'm trying to get in shape, you'll probably get ripped for it. But if you were like, look, lads, I'm training for a marathon or a white collar boxing event, I'm off the booze for 8 weeks, everyone gives you a pat on the back, don't they? Everyone's like, well done, mate, like that's class, like when's your fight, I'm gonna come watch it, or doing when's the marathon. So it's like trying to put that into their perspective, into their mindset. Is like, look, this is my marathon, this is my white collar, this is my home run, this is what I'm training for. And it's like, oh, that makes a bit more sense. And I can see a couple of you nodding like that does make sense. So it's making your environment aware of your goals and also people's perspective of your environment, and just sort of try and make it relatable. There we go. Someone's put that, so relatable. So I know obviously relationships, like it's, imagine poor Ramira, when I'm eating, I can maintain weight at like over 3,500 calories sometimes. I can sit there and eat anything because I'm on my feet all day. And then she sits at a desk job and I'm there smashing a load of chocolate when she's on a diet. And I'm getting away with it. She's like, that's unfair, that's unfair. But I've got to like be aware of that. And because of my background, because of my job, I am aware, but people might not be. Like, I know Emma, who's in the group, came home the other night and her boyfriend bought her a pizza. She's like, what part of I'm on a fucking diet don't you get? She's like, I'm trying to tell you I'm on a diet, I don't need the pizza. He's like, but I just thought you might want it because you've been doing so well on your diet. It's like, well, no, I'm not finished it. Wait till I'm done. But it's like just making people aware. So that's there's a lot more I can talk about: food, health, fitness, all day, all night. Hence why I break it down into 8 weeks. But is everyone sort of that's quite a informative topic? Is everyone sort of happy with what's been taken away from today? Is there anything that someone would like me to clarify on that, or everything? Is everyone happy with that sort of information? And I'll use some of the other half of the topic next week. Yeah, good. I don't want to keep you all on here all night either. No, good. And we managed to get through. Will you all do me a favor, because I am getting some people in already for the next sort of Eliminate in April, and I'm not going to lie, it's for marking. Can we all take a photo of the screen cameras on? Can you have extra calories on a period? Lydia, I'd give you them just to not have you to whinge at me. All jokes aside, it's subjective. I said in the group before is if you remember, you are in a 500 calorie deficit. If you have an extra 100, 200 calories like of dark chocolate, a couple squares of dark chocolate, say call it 150 calories, and you're in a fight, you're still in a 300 calorie deficit. So yes, you can technically have more food and still be okay and still lose weight. So take it, but don't take the piss. That's my honest answer. Is that it's the same as if you're low on sleep, your hormones are off, you feel hungry and you crave. Would you start eating more food every time you had a bad sleep? No. So when you're on your period, do the things that make sense, do what you know works, drink your water, get a good sleep, try do it. But if you are really craving, and I would rather you take that extra 150 to 200 calories of, say, something like dark chocolate, which helps to not crash by 1,000. So you would still be in a deficit. I shouldn't really tell you that because obviously you want to smash it and don't, but I want you to make sure you finish Eliminate longevity from the start of the call. Right, I'm going to take a quick snap of everyone. Let me minimize this chat. I'm going in 3. Get your phone cameras on. We're going in 3, 2, 1. There we go. Right. Cheers, guys. Hope you all have a lovely evening and enjoy. If you have any questions, please ask. Winner of Desert Island, I'm going with Alexandra Brownies. I think that's the most likely dessert I would order myself. Kelsey, your cookies look unbelievable, and next time I would like one, please, if you're passing the gym. But yeah, I think in terms of a dessert, I think the brownie with ice cream is a certified dessert. So I'll put in the next challenge. I'll let you get off the call, but thanks everyone. Have a wonderful evening, and I will speak to you in the weeks.
Cheers.
Bye.